DA, ICE. I mean, all forms of like police force were there at that house looking for the previous owner.
This is Charles and Ernie, and this is the Real Deal podcast from House to Life, talking about real estate, talking about life. Here with my co-host Ernie. Ernie, you want to tell them where we're at?
Yeah, we're here at Saludos Brewing. If you guys haven't been here, it's at 4820 McPherson. You might hear a little background noise because it is a full functioning brewery, and they're getting ready for tonight's activities. So to the podcast, we're trying to make this podcast more about real estate, our personal stories about real estate, not only in sales, but also personal experiences. And then at the same time, about life lessons, life tips, at the same time to help you with real estate or anything else related to real estate.
Yeah, definitely. Because who better to give you real estate advice than the experts, right?
Right.
But which brings me to my first question. I was really, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics, but I really want to know, and I don't think I ever asked you this question. How'd you get into real estate, man?
That's a good
what
question.
made you decide to get into real estate?
I got into real estate back in 2005. I really don't even know how it started or why I got into real estate. It was just something that always interested me. And they had the classes at Laredo Community College, and I just said, you know what, this is something that I can probably do. And I always liked doing sales. I grew up, my dad had a print shop, so I grew up working since I was like 13, 14, used to the whole entrepreneurial background and all that. So it seemed like it was one of those types of businesses that, it's you're an entrepreneur. You make your own business. You make your own success. So that's pretty much how I got into it. I mean, how did you get into real estate? What got you into real estate?
Well, that's why I'm laughing because so this. They don't know this. My background was actually in law enforcement. So started off, and I was a decent cop, I guess, but I had no idea why I wanted to get into real estate. I just got my real estate license because it was a thing. I was like, it's just one more thing to check mark. And I didn't use it for years. I got my license, left it there, and, kept on working different jobs. And then eventually, when I was moving back into town, I said, well, I got to do something. Last job I had was working in the government. I'm like, well, I got to do something to provide for my family with the same means. And I still had no idea what the heck I was getting myself into. But, I mean, yeah, this field can definitely provide you with those means,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess now let me ask you a quick question on real estate. How have you felt the real estate business, like as far as, is it something super easy or, it took you a while to get the ball rolling? How's it been for you?
Oh, no, man. I see it from both sides. Like, I see it from the client's perspective, and I see it from our perspective. Both are equally hard because it's a lot of learning, a lot of training that we have to get, and a lot of it is self-taught.
Yeah.
You got to learn as you go. It kind of reminds me a lot of law enforcement. Because law enforcement, you go through this academy, but when you really learn your stuff when you get out into the real world.
Field, yeah.
And I feel for clients because, for them, they're being guided by us, but I'm sure they have an idea what it's like to buy a house, but it's until you're actually in the process that you're like, whoa, it's like that old saying, everybody has a plan till crap hits the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what it feels like. So from starting my career to helping out clients, I'm sure that it's very relatable how difficult it can be.
And the good thing is that we both bought a house. We both have experienced as a client.
Yeah.
So we know what our clients are expecting, like as far as customer service and the whole experience from the time that you decide to buy a house to the time, you get the keys to the house. And
did you have a checklist for your house? Things that you needed to have when you went into your house hunting search?
No. It really, I just wanted a certain location, and it was just pretty much based off of that. Other than that, I didn't really care about the house. I just wanted my own house,
I find it super interesting because we've talked about this earlier, and he was in between two houses.
Yes.
So if you're okay with me sharing it, you said one was in VS, right? And your other house was in the
Delmar.
Delmar area. in today's real estate market, those are not
Yeah.
they're not close.
It came down to price.
Okay.
That was another main deciding factor. I mean, at the time, I was working at Best Buy.
Okay.
I was also a full-time student, so I didn't have too many options. You know, it was like you're approved for this much, and that's what you got. And
Okay.
so, but it just so happened that the house that we live in now, it was just a great opportunity.
Okay.
We used to live at my in-laws' house, which is next door to the house that we bought.
Okay.
And you know, we offered the lady, the owner of the house, and she's like, she couldn't, and it just got to a point that she just said, you know what, I'll take your max. What we were maxed out. She ended up taking our offer, and
Was it
I mean,
below asking?
Oh yeah, it was below.
Good
It
amount.
was a good deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good deal. So
Yeah.
it was one of those that, you know, can't complain. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I think that God always has a plan, and sometimes, you know, we want certain things, but I think that there's signs that maybe a certain house or maybe a certain thing that we want is not for us. I don't know if you want to go ahead and tell them at home. You were in between VS and Delmar, how that VS house, which I think is super interesting, what was the sign that told you that house in VS was not the one?
So it was a very clear sign that was not the house for me. Let me tell you why. So we were already contracted.
Okay.
We were within the option period. We did an inspection, and it just so happened that while the inspector was there doing the inspection,
Yeah.
DA, ICE, I mean, all forms of like police force were there at that house looking for the previous owner.
Gotcha.
And that was a huge sign for me that I was like, nope, I'm not buying this house.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, for me, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you this much. Man, I wish I would have gotten a cool sign like that. That's a really cool sign to let you know, don't buy that house.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything like that. And I'll just share real quick. For me, what made me want to go ahead and buy a house was my wife. My wife said, it's time to go. And I'm not saying my wife wears the pants.
Sounds like it.
But me and my wife, we make our decisions together. I respect my wife a lot, and she said, it's time to go. And I said, you know what? She's probably right. So we had a game plan. I had a game plan. I had all these check marks that I needed to make. I felt like I wasn't ready. Move forward anyways. And, it worked out. But we did have, what I told myself was, and I'm not sure if you told yourself the same thing, the house has to make sense in order for me to go ahead and move forward. I don't know if you would agree with that.
I mean, it does, but at the time that I was buying, it was more out of necessity.
So,
And at the same time, I don't think I was ready to buy the house, but and that was another question you had asked me earlier, like how much money did I have for a down payment? It's like, I don't even remember. I don't even think I had more than $2,000, maybe $3,000 saved up. We were able still to buy the house. I don't even remember how it happened, but we were able to buy the house.
yeah. So there is programs available. If the government has programs available for people that have low funds to be able to buy a house. So there is options. We took the contrary route to that, where it was me. I took the contrary route where I told my wife, we need to have X amount of dollars in the bank to make it possible. And we talked about that sweet spot. We like 10 to 15,000. I stayed true to that, where I think I had like 14 to 15. And I said, okay, this is going to go to that.
Right.
But it's cool to hear, because I had never heard your story, that I'm like, when it's time, and God makes a way of making it all work out. And even if you have low funds, I mean, you can make it happen.
Yeah, we pretty much made it happen, and I'm not too sure, like I said, how that happened, but it was just weird how everything was put into place, where I graduated the same month that I bought a house, that I got a new job.
I didn't even know that. That's interesting, man.
It was just
like everything
all at once. Yeah, just like a little domino effect. It just all fell into place. So, yeah, it was just one of those things.
And me, I ended up, getting a house, and then I won a scratch card lottery.
Those are already noises.
No, just playing. That didn't happen. But no, I got the house. I got the house I wanted, and that was awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good experience, and that's something that if you're on the fence of wanting to buy a house, or I don't have enough money for a house, come talk to us. I mean, that's something that we do every day. Like you said, we've experienced it, both spectrums, no money with some money down saved, and
Yeah.
it's possible. So there's options out there, there's programs out there. A lot of people don't know about them, and I mean, the only way to know is if you actually
Talk to an
ask.
expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We got you.
Well, before I let you go, Ernie, here at Saludos, I just want to know, brother, how do you like real estate so far? Now that you've spent so much time in the industry, what do you think about today's market?
Today's market, it seems it's a little crazy. People are still kind of listening to the news, and the news is kind of saying this and saying that, and then we see certain things and it's opposite sometimes. So it's really hard to kind of gauge what's going on. But it does seem that it is turning into a buyer's market. More homes are becoming available. Prices are starting to drop a little bit. Sellers are willing to help with closing costs again.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, like during COVID, it was like the houses were coming out and they were sold in a weekend with 7-8 offers.
Yeah, work
And
that.
Very
different.
seller sided, and now it's shifting back to the buyer.
What do you think the market's going to look like? Which is, to me, I find it extremely fascinating how everybody might be on the fence right now. And that's still the most common thing that I see. Everybody on the fence, where it's like, I'm not going to cross over because, I hear that there's going to be a housing bubble, a housing collapse. I think in a year from now, it's going to be probably my best time. What do you foresee? I know it's a little too soon to tell, and we're probably going to have this recorded, so we'll be able to look back and see if we were right or wrong. But what do you think is going to happen a year from now?
A year from now, I mean, it seems like right now there's still people out there buying, and the thing is that it's either you're going to rent or you're going to buy a house. I mean, if you're already paying $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month on rent, you can do that and like buy a house, pay the same amount. You're already comfortable with that payment, and then you can turn around if the rates go low or drop, you can refinance it. Like just for an example, I bought my house in 2010. The rate at that time was at 5.5, and that was like,
Really?
whoa, I got a great deal. That's pretty much what the rates are right now, and
Yeah.
and it was. And
Were people scared back then?
No, back then it was movement. It's kind of weird how the market has its different trends or different.
How did you feel when you heard, hey, that's going to be my interest rate? What did you think? I'm just curious.
I didn't,
You were like,
if that's what the rate is right now, then I wasn't really thinking about the rate. I was just seeing, can I afford that monthly payment? And let's go.
and just out of curiosity, before we run out of time, how soon before you refinanced?
I waited about, I think it was about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And then I ended up going down to like a 4.2. I had an opportunity to go again to like a 3 point something. I just didn't do it.
Earlier than the 5 to 6 years?
No, about 4 years ago, I was going to refinance again, and I just never did it.
Okay. Yeah, I always hear like if you follow like all these like big financial advisors and whatnot, they always say, or the experts in the financial industry, to refinance every 5 to 6 years, something like that. If you can refinance sooner, do it, right? But there's options. A lot of people think that, you know what, I'm stuck with that interest rate. And did you have that mentality? I don't know if you did, or if not, I'm like, oh crap, I'm stuck with a 5.5.
No, I mean, because at the time that was normal, and when I started realizing, and
Did you know that you could refinance?
I did, yeah, but it was just something that I just I don't know, I just didn't want to go through the process again, and just I expected a different experience, and when I refinanced, I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad, it was pretty simple, but yeah, I don't know, I just never crossed my mind to do it again.
Just for fun, how much? Well, if you feel comfortable sharing, I don't know. How much did you buy your house for?
It was 135.
How much is it worth right now? I'm just curious. I love real estate.
About 250. So
That is, to me, is the beauty of real estate. I love appreciation.
yeah,
You can't do that with cars. Not dogging anybody in the car industry, or if you love. I love to buy and I sell cars. I tell Ernie this. It's a hobby of mine. My dad got me started on it. But cars don't appreciate in value.
yeah.
Not like real estate.
Yeah, I mean, that's another advantage of, kind of going back to the whole renting thing, is that, let's say in 2-3 years from now, you decide, I need to move to San Antonio, or I got a job in Dallas or whatever. You can sell that house the house should go up in value, plus whatever you've lowered it in your payments, you're gonna get something out of it. But if you're renting in 3 years and now you're gonna move, whatever you put into that rental, it's gone.
Okay.
And any upgrades or any painting or whatever you did to the house, it stays with the house or the rental.
Okay. I just want to ask this before Saludos kicks us out, which is a little hard to do because Saludos is practically family to Ernie. What do you love the most about real estate?
It has to be like the final customer experience.
Really?
Like the final when they have the keys, they've moved in, you kind of go back and give them like a closing gift or kind of just visit, and you see what they've done to the place and the appreciation for all the hard work and finding that for them.
Would you say it's like the magical moment and the experience that it creates?
Yeah, I think so. It's a great experience, and you can see the client's experience from the beginning where they're kind of worried to, they're in the house, they're already comfortable in the house, and they're all happy, and the kids are running around, and they personalize that house. It's fun to go through that with each family.
I think I like being a guide, being able to be, being able to be that bridge where it's like, there's a problem, I got a problem solved to create a solution.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get you to the finish line.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. But that's pretty much it, fun. Guys.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Every episode, it's going to be different topics. We're going to be doing this every week, so stay tuned for our next one. We haven't really talked about what the next topic's going to be, right? Like
we're not talking about it. We're going to surprise you, but if you want to go ahead and get involved, feel free to leave a comment below of what you want us to talk about. This video segment was just more of how to know if you're ready to buy a house. You got to hear both of our experiences. My co-host Ernie, he would be on that side of maybe he wasn't the most prepared. I would say that I think I was somewhat prepared. If you relate to either of us, you know that we're on your side. Feel free to like and subscribe and follow us and share for more information. Like I said, comment on what you want to hear about next. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.